the first turret for Octa Gaming was in the top side, was in a gold lane that Obsidian could not be able to stay for long to farm, you know, to game these items to buy more time for DreamMax. And you combine with Thanatos bringing a Baxia, a very high mobility, a very good control on objectives. I think that when DreamMax saw Baxia, I think that Jump started trying to respond with the Guinevere, with the mobility, with the jumps, you know, trying to counter in some way, in somehow, this Abaxia's choice. But once again, DreamMax has the potential, DreamMax has the tools to fight as even with Octa Gaming, but they cannot go into Octa's performance, Octa's playstyle, you know, because if they face front to front, maybe it's not a good idea for a DreamMax.
Yeah, Octa was putting on a whole lot of pressure there for DreamMax. They weren't able to recover from it, and they didn't know how to answer back. But right here, we've gone ahead and banning of course, the Freya, and here the Uranus ban. I'm thinking maybe they're trying to pick up a Zushin, because I know that Uranus is like picking up a boulder. So trying to deal with him is hard if you were planning on picking that Zushin, right? If that is going to be open right now. And they also got rid of that Phobius as well.
Not just that, but you're picking up a boulder that can immediately use consecration and immediately purify out of your team and put his stacks onto your entire team as well. I see the Phobius pick up here, which is very interesting too, because I want to say the first draft, I feel like the Phobius was there to set up that Valentina pickup. They already used the Valentina pickup. So maybe kind of like a little bit of a detriment to their back line. I was really happy with Octa Gaming's first draft too, picking up the Harith and then just banning out every single marksman that they could think of to where there weren't any real great pickups left. Obsidia was even, I was kind of like, even with Obsidia with weapons, or yeah, with items, I feel like you still had to deal with the burst damage that was going to be coming out of Octa. If you use the ultimate, what does Obsidia do? She just latches onto a target, stays pretty close to them, and what are you going to be able to do with that if the entire enemy team is just blowing you up? So I feel like it was a great draft there, a great read by Octa Gaming. Here, a priority Harith pickup by DreamMax.
Yeah, the first pick here for a DreamMax. Maybe I'm not sure, but maybe there could be the possibility here for DreamMax working with a Harith and Zetian's composition in the mid lane here, like just to nerf the magic resistance for Octa Gaming, for example, and they can bring a jungler with physical damage. That could be a possibility here, because we don't have a Zushin, but okay, we still have Ivy if Octa Gaming not choosing here in the first at the first time. So maybe that could be a possibility for DreamMax to think about this draft. But what is open is a Sora, which was banned in the first game here, but now is in Octa's hands, Zena.
That's interesting. Do you think that they forgot to ban out Sora by leaving him open, or you know, they decided they wanted to get out? Yeah, I kind of forgot too. So maybe that was the case here, or they thought Uranus and Phobius was more of an issue since they were picking up this Harith, right? Since all that blinking he does. So, Harith is a very strong gold laner right now, and they saw that with Octa. They wanted to make sure they took it this time around, and probably see what we'll see what they can do with it, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking on the side of Octa. I'm wondering if we prioritize the carry pickup here, just to have something that that you don't have to aim, that you can just use that speedy light wheel and hopefully be able to burst down the Harith while he's trying to dash circles around you. Here, a very early game pickup there for the side of DreamMax, especially with a Hylos pickup out there. Hilda, I want to say one of her biggest, or she shines when trying to be that early game harasser, getting into enemy jungle and things like that. But she has issues when it comes to things like slow, like CC, or enemy roams and junglers that are not afraid of the damage that she can bring. So tankier jungles, tankier roams that can slow them. Here, you've got a Hylos that can probably do a decent job of being able to slow and hold Hilda down.
Yeah, the aggression here could be the key to victory for DreamMax in this second game here, bringing Hilda with this a very map domination, aggressive style for this composition. And I have to be honest, I'm really concerned so far about like this Octa gaming composition so far, because we got 3 close range heroes. We got Suyo, we got Hylos, and we got Sora. Okay, maybe in the gold lane here we can have a carry, we can have a Claude, for example. That is a very high possibility actually, because they both teams did not ban the carry, did not ban Claude, for example. You know, so we have to wait what is Octa Gaming are about to bring in the mid lane here. Maybe it can be not Ivy anymore because DreamMax banned. But can be Farsa, for example, who is still open, not Zunshin anymore. So I think that Octa Gaming now is going to work about like this range situation, because if you so far 3 melee heroes for Octa Gaming.
Yeah, it looks like Valentina is still open for them on the side of Octa as well. Right, and they're not able to choose it on the side here of DreamMax, so they really don't have that counter for that Sora in that sense.
Maybe in the mid lane, private.
Yeah, I was gonna say Lilia. I was honestly gonna go for Zeshian, but they went ahead and banned it out. They banned out any of those setting type of mages that would help out to lay down the glorious pathway. Because what you're looking for on Octa side is an engage. You're looking to Hylos to lay down that glorious pathway, and these melee close range heroes to close that distance as quickly, as fast, and as efficiently as possible. Especially for a composition on the side of DreamMax. They've got a lot of kiting potential. They've got a lot of dashes to be able to get away. So do we have something that's going to be able to enable the Octa Gaming composition here? And I'm trying to think when it comes to the mid lane. I mean, Lilia, she isn't exactly like an engage type as far as like being able to help close the distance for your team. I'm actually kind of clueless here, because maybe we turn it around. Maybe we, if we're Octa Gaming, we try to bait out some of these fights, force DreamMax to try to come to us, to try to close the distance on us, and we can turn it around on them. It's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. Especially, I feel like this first turtle is going to be a little bit easier for Octa Game. Oh, as I say that, we pull out 2 of the tankiest, thickest boys on the side of DreamMax.
Damn, so now Terizla and Leomord here. It's a very hard engage here for DreamMax composition so far, with Terizla and Leomord calling the Phantoms team, even with the Hilda here causing depression in the jungler, you know. So now let's see what Octa are about to bring in the mid lane. Lilia, it is still a choice, but I don't think that maybe with the with this danger coming from DreamMax here, especially in the close range from Terizla. But once again, we're seeing Valir in Sega's hand, private.
Yeah, well,
this is actually... Go ahead.
Well, I was thinking Lilia wasn't a good choice here. The fact that Kimmy and Harith both are very mobile, can get away and stuff. Lily is hard to catch those mobile heroes, right? So she has a harder time here. So that pickup of Valir is really good on their side.
It'll be interesting to see how they go in with it. Valier's going to be more on the front end, trying to push people away, trying to slow them down. I see how it can meld, especially with Saber on this Hylos. If you lay down a lot of those pools, get a lot of stuns, get a lot of slow, you'll be able to kind of close the distance on there too. For me, it kind of comes down to jump style and King. Are we going to be able to kind of sink in on a target, be able to blast them down, and will the rest of DreamMax be able to kind of read that, find that target, and be able to kind of zero in onto them? It's going to be a very tough game, I feel like, for either of these teams when it comes to trying to accomplishing their strategies.
Yeah, and I believe that was DreamMax's idea when they banned Zetian, because one of her buffs is like to push away, you know, the enemies with her buff. But now they have Valier with the second ability, which has the potential to disengage the enemies. But now let's see what is going to happen, my friend, because here, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, once again to the Lane of Dawn, DreamMax versus Octa Gaming. It's a best of 5 for the playoff spot. Let's go, Private.
Yeah, you brought up a great point when it comes to trying to push people away, but that's why I'm kind of really looking for DreamMax. How are they going to play? Will they be able to layer their skills properly? Because if you layer it properly, you have to push away King when he comes in for the penalty zone. If layered properly, right after that, you'll have Jump Style coming in with the Phantom Steed as well. And suddenly, Segan doesn't have a push anymore. Suddenly, Segan doesn't have any more of his pools and he'll be taken down easily. But like I said, it comes down to how well this team organizes when they are able to get some of those stuns out there as well.
But now see here the first minute, losing, receiving, taking the pressure here for a Hilda and a King with a Terizla. But now we're seeing both teams are trying to reach level 4, but Thanatos sees it's thinking about something versus Chimera. Can be a 2v1.
Oh, yeah, I think he sees on the back end. He's looking for that evil queller to land. Oh, comes in with a little bit of a...
What?
Okay. Yeah, dude, I don't think he really wanted it. He could have been a little bit more patient. I feel like they might have been able to get something from there. But you do get a little bit of that defense underneath the tower there, so maybe not wanting to risk it.
Yeah, but Thanatos is still in level 3. I think that he lost some time trying to dive the Harriet, while DreamMax here guaranteed the first turtle. I don't think that... Okay, that was an idea, but the execution was not so good, Private.
Yeah, and maybe a 1v2 on the bottom lane. It doesn't guarantee you anything. Speaking of which, we do have a little bit of engagement coming in here. Flicker has to come out, and Shaykite goes down even with the help of the Phantom Steed coming out from DreamMax. Jump Style tried to help. Blink was right there as well, but it was Octa Gaming, a 3-man ambush there, able to find the first blood.
That was so bad for DreamMax here, because not only for a Shaykite being taken down, she was forced to use the flick, but still she was taken down. But here once again,
Blink walks into the wrong bush, immediately gets taken out by Thanatos TZ with an evil queller. Glorious Pathway is out, but defensively is gonna have to get away. Barging in, Thanatos TZ finds a kill onto King. Shaykite picking up an immediate Sky Piercer.
You were baited, DreamMax. You were baited for Octa Gaming. Sagan, okay. Now he's able to survive, to play back. But even though we are seeing Sora like causing so much damage, taking so much gold energy in the top lane, there comes a response now for DreamMax with Leomord and Terizla. But so far, Octa Gaming are like seeing the best chances, are seeing the best breaches in a DreamMax composition. But now, once again, oops, here comes the trouble. No.
Yeah, really interesting here too, because you're talking about some of the almost wasted time from Thanatos TZ watching this bottom lane, and he was down there again, hoping he could find something. But he, like, even though he's wasting all of this time down there, maybe he's not farming as fast as some of the most of the other Suyos we see. But he's sitting at 3-0 right now. So when it comes to these fights, he's able to hone in on the target he needs to, able to get those kills to keep him in these games, keep that farm up. We do have the second Lord being started here right now. Wanders over and reset by both of these teams. Now looking and jockeying for position. Does look like it's a 5-on-1 though, favoring DreamMax. Ooh, taking a bit of damage, coming in with a blazing duet. Blink gets taken out by an evil queller from Thanatos Teasy. The rest of the Octa Gaming running in underneath the tower and still finds another kill. 6-1 for Thanatos Teasy.
Thanatos Teasy, the god of the death here, Private Dancer so far for Octa Gaming with the 6 kills. Yeah, it's 100% of team's participation. But now here comes the 2v1 here in the bottom lane. Chimera, okay, he's able to survive. But once again, a Private Octa Gaming with the aggressive playstyle. But one thing that I didn't get it, because when, as you well said, when you get Hilda, you gotta have this domination, right? You gotta have this pressure, especially in the enemy's jungler. But we didn't see here for a DreamMax. We didn't see a DreamMax playing aggressive. You know, they were surprised all the time for Octa's engage. You know, guarantee the kills for Thanatos. So I think that maybe DreamMax, I don't know, maybe there is still there just a little bit with the miscommunication or something, because so far with that composition coming for DreamMax, that we respected some aggression, but Octa Gaming, once again, the glorious path to engage, not disengage. So it's gonna be very it's becoming a complicated situation for a DreamMax so far.
Yeah, the problem is that at the mid lane, you basically got a huge counter for the Hilda, and that's a Valir who's gonna slow, who's gonna stun you. Every single time you try to close the distance, he can try to push you away. Who's the next target that you want to go for? Do you want to try to help out King against a Sora? I mean, you're not going to be able to burst down the Sora like that. And then I feel like your only real target was probably V2 at the bottom lane. And unfortunately, I just didn't see that pressure down there as well. So you're not getting the value that you would like to get out of a Hilda pickup here. Now we do have a Zaman Force laid down, and now Lucy coming in from the back end finds a pop-up. 4 men for DreamMax are going to be able to find themselves a kill. However, they are not. Oh, actually a little bit of an ambush here comes out with the glorious pathway. Thanatos Teasy comes in there with the Soul Sever, chunking down Kite. Saber on the front end. Jump style goes down. Saber actually might be taking a heap of damage. Zaman Force has been laid down. The rest of the team comes in. Thanatos Teasy finds himself a stun, but almost gets taken out. A Saber goes down. Back end, we have a blazing duet. King able to find himself an escape. 3-7 right now in favor of Octa Gaming.
That was a chaotic team battle here, but now Octa Gaming takes the time and takes the chance to guarantee one more turtle. 2 turtles for Octa Gaming versus only 1 for DreamMax. Okay, Lucy trying to defend the turret, and he was taken down. But now once again in the top side is going to be another chaotic situation.
Yeah, penalty zone went down and locked down the Sora. Lucy gets taken down as Kite joins the fight down there as well. 4-9 right now. I feel like maybe a little bit more even as we move into the mid game than it was through the first, but DreamMax still have a lot of puncture holes that are starting to leak in right now. Chimera, I feel like a lot of their hopes really leaning on Chimera and hopefully Kite being able to kite.
Yeah. No, that was good. That was good. But now we're seeing Octa taking down 1 more turret. This time wasn't the top side, only the first turret in the mid lane here. It is still standing for a DreamMax's favor. But even though we're seeing the gold lead here heading for a 3K for Octa Gaming, another situation that we can talk about is V2 with this clock. You know, the clock is ticking for Octa Gaming. Okay, even for a DreamMax, because they already have a Chimera with the Herald, is another strong late game, you know. But for me, for Claude, it's even way better because they have more ways to escape. They have more. He has more mobility, you know, with the Dexter hologram. So I think that maybe DreamMax has to find a way to try to burst a Claude here in the possible future team fights. But the question is, how are they going to do that? Because to get to this Claude, they have to pass through Sora, Hylos, you know, even Sagan. So it's not going to be that easy.
Well, you were talking about the Claude. He's got one more, I think only like 200 more gold he needs before he can get that Trinity build. There he goes. He went ahead already, got the corrosive sight. So as soon as he comes in with this blazing duet, it's going to be like a whole new Claude that has been eating his vitamins and saying his prayers at night, because he's going to be able to dish out a huge amount of damage. You see on the front line here, Octa Gaming doing their best to try to tank it in. Big stun comes out onto Blink, but Thanatos TZ decides against continuing on with the engagement. Now they just need to bide their time. Lord is on their side, and they can continue trying to macro up through the jungle.
Yeah, the macro here now, DreamMax is trying to compensate somehow in the top side here. But the question is, the situation, is the Lord is heading on the bottom line here. So now 3-4 games, V2, okay. Both teams now are trying to do something in the mid lane, because it is only the only side that is still have a turret #1 is still for both teams. While the Lord is marching in the bottom lane here, we are having 10 minutes and 40 seconds in the second game. The goal lead here, not only far from 3K for Octa Gaming, but more than just the goal lead, is the map domination, is the advantage for the Lord. Octa Gaming is playing forward. The horizon is not the limit.
Well, not just that, Lucy keeps on pushing this top, pushing minions into it. DreamMax answers, and as soon as DreamMax leave, Lucy's right there again, pushing top lane. So you're getting a huge value out of this Lord at bottom lane. You have lanes pushing up at top. Meanwhile, the bulk of Octa Gaming is enforcing their will through mid. That is just the perfect way of being able to take advantage of this Lord, that DreamMax have the answer. You're split pushing as well, while the bulk of your forces are pushing through mid. Now down to only high grounds, bottom and top minions and lanes about to push. Evil Queller for Thanatos TZ, looking for a target, does not find it. Now big defense underneath the tower, changing down to almost about a quarter of health down. Octa Gaming, they're doing they got already. That was a huge Lord for them, even if they didn't break into the high grounds already.
Result here. Okay, once again, the items, we have the Heaven's Feather and the Starling side with 2 Herod. The Trinity Core for Claude, now heading for the 4th item here. But now once again, Octa Gaming in the bottom lane.
Yeah, a great pathway put out there. Oh, a big penalty zone lands on the 3 members. Thanatos TZ actually have to get some distance. From the side comes in the Phantom Steed as well, and 2 down for Octa Gaming. A huge amount of damage coming out from DreamMax. Immediately pushes back Octa's jungler, and then from the side, Jump Style, a great job to come in and clean up the pieces. And none of this would have been possible if not for King with that great flicker penalty zone that landed onto 3 members.
Yeah, there's a rule, and the rule says do not underestimate DreamMax. They are not dead yet, they are not done yet, and now here comes the chance to guarantee the second Lord, but Octa here is trying to fight back.
Yeah, Thanatos TZ on the back end looking for a way to get in there. Is getting harassed there by Blink. He's going to come in. Oh, we do have a glorious pathway, but Jump Style is able to get himself a Lord. Blazing Duet coming out from V2. DreamMax being chased down by Octa Gaming, looking for an angle to get in. Thanatos TZ finds himself 2 kills there as well. Now they're going to go ahead and make short work. What Lord was out there?
What Lord? there was a Lord here, it's not anymore. You know, I think that okay, maybe Octa is trying to okay, they push the limit, they push the top side here. Can't be the end, Private.
Yeah, they're going to go ahead and use that glorious pathway more as a zoning tool. Now against 3 members, down goes King, looking to latch on to jump style. He's going to try to dash his way to safety. Still trying to coming in, trying to find himself an angle. J-Kite, braveness on this girl to go up against 3 members, keeping that distance, knowing that she still has that ability to create distance and kite them back, and still trying to push Octa Gaming back.
As the song says, this girl is on fire. Shake right here with the 5 kills in the Kimi. She is trying to defend DreamMax's honor so far, but now once again, they have super minions in the top side here for Octa Gaming. Octa Gaming managing the situation. One more item for Claude, Malefic Gun, to increase the range, especially for the Blazing Duet here, and working with the Dex's hologram. Octa Gaming causing pressure, denying farm for DreamMax. They're playing together, they're holding together, but they cannot farm so far for Octa Gaming. I think that one more Lord is going to be the end of the second game.
I mean, I usually am a big critique of early sky piercers on heroes, especially when your team is losing. But J-Kite does such a great job on this Kimi, even on their back foot. It's 6-12 right now. J-Kite is 5-1-1, really making use of that sky piercer, and I feel like is going to be one of those. If they can turn it around, it's really going to be bent on J-Kite and Chimera being able to step up and dish out that damage. Unfortunately, Chimera having a rough game here right now, 0-2-4. So it's like, it's basically resting on, can J-Kite find some of these targets? Can she also protect herself? Can she create that distance? And right now, it's a lot of boxes you need to check to be successful against Octa Gaming, who can, I want to say, a lot can go wrong for them right now. He's sitting at Seagans, had a perfect game so far. He's got 9 assists as well. Saber's 0-2-10 right now. He's been involved in most of the fights, and you already have V2 coming online. Thanatos TZ 8-1-0 right now. So they have themselves a great game. They have a lot more wiggle room in which they can actually step back, but you can see now DreamMax looking for an angle to possibly come in onto this Lord. Lord has been reset.
Blink
takes a 25% damage from a V2 right there. V2's doing a good job. He's going to continue to go around this Lord to keep up those stacks of Claude, because he wants to come in with the Blazing Duet with all 5 stacks. You see them go ahead and reset it. V2's just going to continue shooting it, keeping those stacks on. Unfortunately, DreamMax not in a great position to try and contest just yet. V2 again on there as we dance around. Saber inside, Blink goes in, gonna get caught underneath this bush, and you see from the back end, V2 comes in, is gonna use that BMI to get himself back towards the Lord, to kite himself back. And right now we're just dancing. Octa Gaming, they don't need to take the Lord. They want this fight first. They can afford to be as safe as possible. Now Blink goes into a bush there with Lucy lying in wait. King looking for this flicker penalty zone if he can find it. Unfortunately, you're talking about some heroes that either have a way to separate themselves from you, like the Valier, or you have V2 who can BMI his way away from you as well. So you're very limited on the targets you can really do with this penalty zone. I want to say, if I'm DreamMax, I'm trying to split push. I'm trying to create some type of pressure with these lanes, hopefully to be able to get to those side lanes. Now 10%, Lord looking like he's going to be able to go over to Octa Gaming. Glorious Pathway has been launched down. Jump Style's going to have to create some distance. Blink being chased down by the Saber and Thanatos TZ on the back end. 4 members, big penalty zone, lands onto 3 members, but the Blazing Duet on the backside. V2 spraying out damage. King finds a kill. 2 down for Octa Gaming. Thanatos TZ and Saber both go down. King doing a great job with that, but Blink still has his immortality as well.
Yeah, Blink here was not able to die this time, and I was about to say about like a great job from Micro Game from Octa Gaming, because the minion waves in the bottom lane, they were so huge they forced Cheikai to head back and to clean the minion wave. That was the opportunity for Octa Gaming, guarantee the Lord, but the situation gone oops once again.
Big penalty zone lasts on the two members, and unfortunately, that's V2 with an ultimate down. Lucy goes down, Segan's gonna look for an escape. V2 came in, he had the blazing duet, but when the penalty zone landed on him, he had to BMI away. So he basically wasted his entire ultimate because he had to disengage from that great penalty zone. King, I wanna say, I didn't say too much about him in the early game, but he's being a core reason that DreamMax have been able to turn around a lot of these fights with some great penalty zones onto like 3 members every single time they come in for an engagement. Look at how tanky Saber is there. There's 3 people there pecking at him, tickling, doing what they can to try to bring him down, and he's just walking it off.
Oh, Blazing Duet once again, Private.
Yeah, but the Chimera able to get away with that Zaman force. You can see on the side where King gonna go ahead, put on some distance there. Jump Style comes in, has the horse, has the Phantom Steed. Cheikai able to find a kill onto Saber. Now on the back end, are they gonna be able to blast down Lucy? Thanatos TZ finds a kill onto King. Cheikai continuing to lock onto Lucy, looking for the damage, but now has to find an escape. Thanatos TZ comes in for the flank. Cheikai might be trapped, has that flicker out, and a little is going to be able to try to get themselves away. V2 trying to spray on some damage, and it is just Cheikai here trying to defend it. Blink comes in, has the immortality, but continually getting slowed by Segan.
Yeah, only 2 players left here for DreamMax. Maybe, I don't think that Octa Gaming here is forcing the end of the game. They're waiting for the next minion waves here in the mid lane. Could be the end, my friend Private.
Oh, Blazing Duet onto the back line. Cheikai in trouble. Immortality has been procced, but there are 3 members there to clean up. Tower is able to take down Lucy, but is there going to be King coming in? Not sure if King has it in him to be able to stop this entire push-up from coming. Jump Style comes out, has the Phantom Steed as well. Octa Gaming actually thinking wise about continuing on this fight. They know it's smarter to just turn their attention back, get this Lord, and do it safely.
Yeah, the safest way here, but DreamMax is coming. They want to fight back this very important objective. Blink here is knowing that only Jump Style. Here we go.
Yeah, Jump Style activates that Phantom Steed a little bit early there. 25% left onto the Lord. Oh, now Jump Style's way deep underneath here, looking for an angle, looking for a way to get in. Penalty zone has been hit. Thanatos TZ takes down Jump Style, and the marksman for Octa Gaming able to find a Lord and another kill. It's just Cheikai and King alone to try to defend this, and down goes King. 4 members left from Octa Gaming. A Lord looming in at mid. None of DreamMax's downed players are going to be up in time. Cheikai on the back end has an immortality. Winter Crown activated again, trying to take down Cheikai. Finds the kill, dies, but enables his team for their 2nd game of the series.
Another different, chaotic, bloodly game here for the 2nd game, and guarantee you 1 more victory to Octa Gaming, 2-0 Xena. What a match.
Yes, wow. Octa Gaming found their confidence there, making sure they dominated the early game, keeping that rhythm, and keeping it throughout the whole time, right? They just, Thanatos Tizzy, he was still strong with the 6-1-0 by the 6-minute mark, and that pressure, they just gave so much pressure to them. I do have to give it up to Cheikai though. She did a wonderful job trying to fight that off.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's only so far you can go trying to fight that off. Like I said, she really made the most use of a lot of her items there too. Like I said, Sky Piercer early on Kimmy. I know it's part of the build, but sometimes I roll my eyes for some of those early Sky Piercers, especially when your team is behind. But when you're talking about somebody who's starting off the game 5-1-1, it's a good item to be picking up to try to at least make this game as competitive as possible. Big shout out too coming out for for the Terizla pickup, who actually paid a little bit of dividends. King did his best to kind of come in, get a lot of those penalty zones. Unfortunately, Octa Gaming, let's talk about this. 16-3 Thanatos TZ on the Suyo pickup. Not just that, a Segan 0-1-17 V2 3-0-12 on the Claude. It's just when the picks that they have, not only such great drafts to shut down that Hilda pickup, but they know exactly when some of these heroes are really supposed to be doing enough during a lot of these fights and waiting for a lot of these power spikes.
Yeah, the whole team here showed an astonishing performance, especially for Octa Gaming, and we are talking about like Thanatos' performance, the Sagans, and say V2 for example. But Saber here, like we were talking about that he was able to walk through the composition, walking through the DreamMax's front line, you know, that he was taking so much damage, but he wasn't able to die. He bought much time for Octa Gaming, you know. So, but for me, I think that DreamMax bringing Hilda, they had a very solid idea, like to play an aggressive, to have a very interesting early game here, to dominate the map. But by the time that this idea wasn't working, and Hilda was losing the potential, losing this aggressive situation, Octa Gaming was like turning things to easier for them to not only lead the advantage, but to manage an advantage. We were talking about like King's performance with the Terizla, that from mid to late game, he was very interesting with the penalty zone, like 3 or 4 times that it was well connected. That was a good for DreamMax to extend the game for much time. They, if you ask me that DreamMax had some chance to win the game, I would say that they had this the chance, but no, you know, they have the possibility to be better. But Octa Gaming, they were so confident to the composition, to the idea, you know, even though Thanatos with the 16 kills with a big responsibility, but V2 with the blazing duet playing so well. Even Sora, which was like with a negative KDA, he was so important with the ultimate tanky here for like to take down and get so many crowd control for Octa Gaming. So even though DreamMax played very like the next possible team fights, they were able to play very well, taking 2 or 3 players from Octa Gaming. It didn't seem like Octa was about to lose this game, not only because of the goal lead and the pressure, you know, but for many situations in the second game.
Yes, and when it came down to execution, this player delivered it flawlessly again. Thanatos Tizzy taking that MVP with 16-3-0 KDA, 78.7k total damage, 802 golds per minute. He is a force there in the jungle.
I'm in shock.
Yeah, I mean, he really was able to shine here, but for me, the entire team and being able to enable him has been the highlight of this story here. They create this great barrier up in the front. They give him space when it comes to this Lord as well, and it just enables, especially when it comes to Suyu picks and a person like Thanatos TZ, who's going to be able to kind of get in there all the time and find a lot of these kills with that evil queller as well. And that's another thing too. He was absolutely phenomenal when it came to like one of those abilities like the evil queller, where you got to aim in there, find some of these weaker targets out there. So a great and well-earned MVP there from Thanatos TZ.